will be required for this.
And indeed, when we talk about 5G, you have to have the right device to maximally utilize this technology. Now, device ownership in Kenya has increasingly actually becoming an uphill task owing to the rise of taxes for mobile devices. In response to that, HMD Global, the home of Nokia phones, has partnered with D-Lite on a device financing program, a move aimed at making Nokia smartphones rather more affordable to consumers in a convenient way. Nyakundi Calvin spoke to Gofa Ogembo, who is the senior business manager for HMD in East Africa, to try and understand the whole idea of mobile financing.
Between 2010 and 2013, we didn't have VAT in Kenya on mobile phones and laptops. The market was quite vibrant because this is a product that's heavily traded from hubs like Dubai and all that. So when the government, in its wisdom, removed VAT, the price at which you buy the phone in Dubai was the same as what you'd buy it in Kenya. So that really spurred the growth of phones and smartphones in Kenya, because it was affordable and the traders had opportunity to sell not only in Kenya but also across the border into the region. Then fast forward 2010, I think 2013, government reintroduced VAT of 16%. If you add all those other costs, comes to about 20%. So that kind of stifled it a bit. So we're hoping that things would change and we're able to convince the government to go back to the time when we didn't have the VAT, or even at least just have it a little so that we can see that vibrancy back. However, that did not happen. So, but the last 2 years have been quite unprecedented. I think we had COVID. With COVID, the challenges that came through was the exchange rate. A lot of our traders deal in dollars because of where we manufacture and all that. So before COVID, I think exchange rate was about 100 or 101 and all that. By the time we were exiting COVID, it was about 112, so almost a 10% jump. Then, of course, chipsets, there was an issue because of either logistics or demand just shot up, and cost of components also went up. If I look at the rest of East Africa, the lowest is probably Rwanda, which is also in the East African community. Their taxes are more or less around 2%. They have a withholding of about 7%. Then the next batch is Uganda, Tanzania. Uganda, Tanzania at about 22%. But Uganda last year also increased an import duty of 10% and infrastructure levy about 2%. So that pushed theirs to 32%. So you have 32%, you have 22% in Tanzania. Tanzania removed the VAT for a couple of months, then reinstated it. So they still sit at around 22%. Now, remember, Kenya do not manufacture phones, so that means you have to pay the full duty. So if you do a calculation from the 16% VAT, you have railway levy 2%, you have IDF 3.5%, you have import duty 25%, you have excise duty 10%, then you have maybe clearing charges another 1%, comes to 58%. So you can imagine how the dynamics change overnight when those taxes were introduced. And those have had two major issues. One is that, of course, it's affecting the uptake. Then what we've also seen is that because of that, we are seeing a high influx of counterfeit devices. Because if they can find a workaround of this 58%, they'll figure out how to bring in the devices. So these are phones that are not type approved for the market with the Communications Authority. Of course, there are lots of risks because this is something that you plug into the socket. So does it have the requirements as per KEBS? in that whole environment, I think therein lies or came in the opportunity for device financing, which is about affordability and keeping you connected. So what we did is we are collaborating with organizations that share the same vision as us about connectivity and inclusion. Currently, we're partnering with MCOPA and Delight. These are micro asset finance organization. Previously, they were doing the household, the solar systems, etc. So now they've come into smartphones as well. And so other than just providing them the phone, we also have a lock solution that is an application that sits in the hardware of the phone. How this works is that the consumer will agree on there's a deposit that you need to pay. Could be like 10 or 15% of the total cost. Once you pay the 10%, the rest you can pay in installments, roughly about 70-75 shillings per day. We have a couple of phones already under this pay-go. Entry is the C10. We have C10, which is a 6.5-inch 4G device, 2.232 GB. So what happens, if I can just give you in terms of how much it costs. So it's between 3,000 to 7,000 as deposit, depending on the device. And then for the entry level, the C series, if you are to buy it cash from retail, it would set you back maybe around 10, 11,000, all the way to about 14, 15. Then you jump into G series, which would be around from 18 all the way to early 20s. And then the X series, which is like mid 20s all the way to 85K. The phone has become the nexus, our universe. You cannot operate without the phone. But that, because of the increase in taxes and the rising cost, that does not necessarily mean that you should be excluded. I think with a very affordable deposit and daily payment, you're able to get yourself a very, very premium phone whose experience is as good as any other premium phone that you want.
Indeed, we have to find a way of democratizing device ownership, and with the taxes that are coming on board on inputs of mobile phones, it's making that a little bit difficult. So we have to innovate, and that's one of the ways, you buy now and you pay in installments as it goes. Well, we take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking matters infrastructure bond and whether they are suitable for investors. Stay tuned.